Hey everyone, this is Ari and Mummy, and in this channel I'll be taking you on the journey with me to review the coolest colognes and watches out there. These two have become my top two hobbies and I would say obsession, but I thought it's time to start sharing my enthusiasm with everybody else and just learn more along the way. So today we're diving into a fragrance that honestly, I don't think it gets the attention that it deserves, and I think it's time to give it a proper review. Mancera's Saharian Wind. As the name suggests, it tries to capture the essence of the desert breeze, and I think it does a great job to recreate that experience. Now, I was introduced to this scent in the most random way when I was at the gym working out, and this guy kept walking by, and every time he did it, I got a whiff of his cologne, and it was really different than anything else that I had smelled up to that point. And it was kind of driving me crazy, so I walked up to the guy, which I usually don't, and asked what he was wearing. And when he said it was Saharian Wind, I pretty much immediately ordered it. The presentation here is typical Mancera. It's simple but classy, and it gives you that luxurious feel with this hefty golden magnetic cap that they have. One of the things I really like about Mancera fragrances are actually their atomizers. They're absolutely amazing and really high quality. They have this pressurized atomizer that when you spray it, it gives out a very, it smells so good. It gives out a very fine and even mist, and it has great volume too, so it gives you a lot of control over how much you want to apply it and where you want to apply your fragrance. So definitely no complaints there. I don't think the atomizers can honestly get any better. And if you have a good atomizer on your fragrance bottle, it actually improves your experience with the scent. Now, getting into the scent profile, when you first sprayed it on, you're blasted with a heavy dose of different warm spices and leather, bergamot, and of course I would say prominent peppery kind of a vibe. So I'd say it has a very spicy and leathery opening that I really enjoy, but I can definitely see how this can be overpowering for a lot of people. You know, some people do not like it to be that strong. And I think this is where the fragrance might actually get you, because it's so strong right after spraying it. But if you wait for just a little bit, the scent settles into a fresher and floral kind of a vibe with a good dose of lavender and cypress. And I think this slight greenish kind of an undertone gives that strong opening a good balance, and it makes the overall experience much more pleasant. Once that goes away, the dry down is where the scent actually shines, in my opinion. After a couple of hours, it settles into a gorgeous dry down where you get a lot of woody notes with a chewy tobacco kind of a vibe that is mixed with vanilla and I would say a good dose of amber. And I think in the dry down, you get a really beautiful and inviting kind of a scent, you know. It lingers around for a good while, and every time you get a whiff, at least in my case, it keeps making me wanting to go back and smell more, you know. And I've heard some people say it smells like Band-Aid in the dry down, which I don't really get, and I don't really understand where that comes from. Maybe the kind of Band-Aid that I use is different. I honestly don't know, but I think it has a very pleasant dry down. It just has a very exotic and interestingly warm and sweet kind of a dry down, you know, and I think it manages to be both sweet and dry at the same time, if that makes sense. So it's just a dry sweetness, and I think it gives this fragrance a very unique quality. Now, when it comes to performance, this thing is really impressive. I easily get 10 plus hours of longevity on my skin, and if I spray it on my clothes, I can still get hints of the smell for days after spraying it. So the performance is amazing. It projects strongly for me for a couple of hours, but after that it sits closer to the skin, and I think it wouldn't be as loud anymore, which is a good thing, honestly, because it is a strong scent. If you're wondering who this scent is most suitable for, I would say it's better for guys 30 and above. It is technically marketed as a unisex fragrance, but it definitely leans more towards the masculine side because of the prominent leather and tobacco base notes and undertones that it has. I would also not wear it during the daytime, especially in the summer. That's gonna be a very bad idea. It is really not a warm weather fragrance, and it's definitely an evening type of a scent overall. Use it in the fall, in the winter. You can still use it in the spring too, but it shouldn't be one of those hot spring days, you know. But I would say definitely if you're gonna use it in the summer, just wait for a cool, chill kind of a summer evening if you wanna do that, and don't overspray. Overall, I think it's a pretty mature scent with quite bold characteristics, you know. It has a very distinctive profile and it's quite unique. So if you want to be safe, I would say sample it first and then commit to a full bottle, because it's one of those scents that you need to make sure you enjoy it first before buying it. It is very niche quality, you know. It is not the kind of scent that you would get from a designer fragrance, not at all. And like I said before, this one is one of those fragrances that do a great job in recreating the experience that the name suggests. You know, this one gives me that feeling of a warm desert breeze that is going through a spice market, if that makes sense. It just makes the whole scent profile very unique and quite niche. I think it's a fantastic scent and it deserves much more attention than what it gets. If you look it up, there are not even that many reviews online on YouTube, in-depth reviews of this scent. And I think it deserves much more love and much more attention. If you've tried this scent, let me know what you think about this fragrance and if you enjoy it as much as I do. And with that, I wrap up my first video on this channel. It was fun. That was it for me. Take care, and I'll catch you in the next one.